All right, so we see here a game against the world champion.
Well, in that
Karpov.
time, Karpov was world champion, and he played fine. He played very well, and he won. He deserved to win the tournament. He played the best, probably one of the best tournaments in his whole career. In Moscow, and he deserved to win, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And probably our game was the only one in the whole tournament where he was a little bit worse. I mean, he had some small problems after the opening, you see. Okay, it was a Queen's Indian. I played with white, and after knight f3, b6, a3. This is a special idea from Petrosyan, and many other very strong grandmasters played this variation for white. Karpov himself also liked to play like this with white. Kasparov also, and so on. It was very popular in that time. And here, after d5 takes in d5, knight takes d5. See, this is the most normal move. He can take with e, of course, and after g3, bishop g2, castle, and so on, we have a very nice example of how to play with white. My game against Adorian that we played already. We can show the game, some other time. We analyzed it, and white won finally, and it was a very interesting game. It's the alternative to take with a pawn. But knight takes d5, probably if black plays well, he can keep the balance in all positions, e3, of course, bishop e7, bishop b5 check is a very good move. Now c6, all is theory, everything is theory.
Why is good? Because
it's good because now, for instance, black can go wrong, immediately.
Mm-hmm.
How? For instance, knight d7. Knight d7 loses immediately after knight e5.
Yes.
Well, loses. Very bad position.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's very bad now. And if he plays bishop c6, again, it's bad position for black because you can even take in c6 and queen a4. Also very, very strong position for white, So, okay, c6, bishop d3, and now c5. Okay. Knight takes d5, the best. And c5 was a little bit too soon considered. The alternative was to play immediately castle, you see. And only after castle you can have another move order, So if you go a little bit back, instead of c5, here castle, you see. And after castle, you can play e4 here, the best. Now he takes in c3, you take in c3, c5. And now castle, of course, castle with white. He can take in d4, you take in d4.
Sorry.
And in this moment, he can play knight c6, the alternative compared with my game against Brownie. Remember where Brown played knight d7 and white had some edge with white. After knight c6, bishop e3, rook c8, queen e2, rook c8, queen e2, knight a5, a5,
yes.
a5, a4, and white is slightly better, but the game is almost even, and our game finished in a draw, Karpov with black against myself at the Olympic Games in Malta in 1980. We played like this, and the game was a draw in Olympiad in Malta in 1980. So he tried to improve and show to everybody that black can play immediately c5. Okay, after c5, white is always a little bit better. The move order is also very important. You can see why. And now this c5 is a little bit risky for black, very quick like this. So I took in d5. Now he took back with queen, of course. And now after d takes c5, bishop takes, and now, small surprise, bishop e5 check. And now black has some problems, because, for instance, a normal move like knight c6 or bishop c6 could lead to very clear advantage for white. For instance, knight c6 is very clear that white is much better. Now queen takes in d5, e takes, and knight e5. And he has problems because he has the Isolani pawn on d5 that could be attacked very quickly, later on, even if he doesn't lose material very quickly, but has very many problems here with black, So if he plays bishop c6 instead of knight c6, was moving back the knight, and okay, bishop c6. And now, again, problems. After queen takes d5, e takes d5, bishop takes c6 check, knight takes, and b4. Again, very clear advantage for white. Bishop e7, for instance, bishop b2. And now he has to castle because you want to take in g7. And now castle and rook d1. Clear advantage for white. White is much better by attacking twice the pawn from d5. Rook d1, rook d2, the other rook on d1. I don't know, maybe black is not lost, but very unpleasant position for black, you see. So, okay, he was thinking for about half an hour here, and he found a very good move. I mean, a little bit surprising in the opening. I mean, if you are world champion and you play like this, but the move was okay. The move was very good. He found the best defense. So here he plays c5. I took in d5. He took with the queen. I took there. He took with the okay, check. And now he played king e7. Okay, the best move. A little bit surprising, but very good move. You know, the only move here.
Not to castle, keep the king.
Well, but it's the best move. Yeah. So now, if you want something, you keep the queen. Okay, if you trade the queen in d5, it's also a little bit better for white, but queen e2 is clearly better. So queen e2 is better. All right. He had time to play a5. I mean, by not allowing immediately b4. If you have time to play b4, bishop b2, again, clear advantage for white, you know. So, okay, after a5, bishop d2, again, very good.
But here
to put the bishop on c3, you know, attacking something.
Yes, but was a mistake to push only a6 instead of
Well, if you push a6, white has time to play bishop c4, for instance, attacking the queen.
Yeah.
You have to move the queen, and afterwards b4 and bishop b2. Clear advantage for white. Yeah. So, okay, even here white is better, but not so much, you know. Yeah. So bishop c3, king f8, castle. And all right, we can see the result. Even here, white has a small edge, you know, in all kinds of positions, but has a little bit more space, and the idea is very clear. You play rook d1, you control all the central squares, and you are a little bit better. And after castle, he took the queen in his hand. You know, he wanted to play queen h5, okay? And he proposed draw. He's a little bit against the rule, you know, because you have to move first and then propose draw, you know?
Yeah.
But being world champion, okay, so I accepted the draw because, as I told you before, it was the only game where the world champion was a little bit worse, you know. We had some small problems during the whole game, you know. So we analyzed afterwards a little bit, and he agreed that he has a small problem, but he could defend. I mean, you can't. I mean, the idea was queen h5, rook d1, knight c6. He has time to
rook fd1.
Yeah, rook fd1, of course. Now knight c6, and you have to demonstrate why you are better and how much. You know, this is the problem. The advantage probably is still there, but it's small. It's not so big. It's very difficult to win this, you know, because you have no clear. I mean, no clear way to force something. You know, to have a clear. If you move the knight, he has time to trade queens, and then the advantage is very small again. You know, if you trade twice the rooks, again the advantage is a little bit. You know, but not so much again. You know.
So nothing decisive.
Not decisive. And okay, playing Karpov, you can imagine that he can defend such a position. He's not lost, of course, now.
Of course. Yeah. And you said he was
smiling,
or when he proposed to you that draw?
Well, he proposed draw. He gives you the possibility to go wrong or to accept or not to accept the draw. You are first to accept. I knew that white is a little bit better, of course, but okay, it was all right. The result was good. To make a draw with Karpov was okay, you know.
True.
But playing against, in other occasion, against any other strong grandmaster, I would continue the game here, you know. But against him, okay, I said, all right, you can be satisfied, you know. Yeah.
Nice.
It's not decisive. I mean, nothing is decisive.
Correct.